poppin' world? I'm on day 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever day it is. It is 5:20, and I'm just now fully waking up. It's 5:20 p.m. I'm just now fully waking up. Yesterday, I didn't record at all. Friday, I didn't record at all. I was doing my Ranger Challenge thing, you know what I mean? And that was really stressful. We lost. Kind of bummed out about it, but it is what it is. You know, we always got next year. I got one more year left for this AROTC thing. So but yeah, it was real grimy though. I mean, it was real difficult. I mean, it was just horrible. But it was fun though, you know what I mean? It was very fun. And honestly, I love everything about it. I learned a lot from the whole competition. I learned a lot just from recording myself every day almost every day this week. You know what I mean? I got a lot to say. So, this weekend though, let me tell you about this weekend. Let me tell you what happened. So, Ranger Challenge, you know what I mean? We're in La Copa, Texas. So, it's right there to the border of Mexico, and it's real hot, humid, sandy. I say it is, but we were at a ranch, so add a little bit of forest to it, because at every little ranch or military base they got a bunch of woods for land navigation and stuff like that. So all that was included. So the way it went was, I'm sorry, I'm itchy. I was getting bit up a lot there. I got mad mosquito bites on my face. I got man. So anyway, we get there, and first thing we do is we kind of set up shop somewhere, in the woods where the team can that's our home base. You know what I mean? So we set up shop, and then we waited for the opening ceremony. Opening ceremony was cool. You know what I mean? We put the flag up in the ceremony since we won last year, and then after that, the game started. So the first thing we did was we did a PT test. And we did it in, we had a little Texas shirt, we had OCP or ACU pants on, and we had running shoes on. And so we did a PT test. I got probably a 295 or 295 to 297, somewhere in that range. I didn't get 300 because the terrain was pretty shitty. It was some hills, and so that's just something that I put in the notes as far as Ranger Challenge next year. So we need to start training in the hills. You know what I mean? We need to train in some terrain. We can't just be doing PT tests on the track. That ain't gonna fly anymore. Anyway, so the PT test lasted probably about an hour and a half, or probably less. And then from there, we had to hurry up, grab our rucksacks, grab everything that we came with, and we loaded into our team van, and we went to the range. That time right there was the only time we got to ride in the van anywhere, and we took advantage of it. So we did that, and we got to the range. We staged up over there, and we shot, and we just shot at an AROTC. Damn, I am so itchy. Yo, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, bitch. I got bruises too, man. Man, do I got bruises. So anyway, so we went to the range, and we shot at AROTC with M4s. The M4s were already zeroed by, I guess, the cadre that was there, and I shot a 34 out of 40. It's pretty good. UT, we actually won that event. We also won the PT event, the APFT event. So that was cool. So then after that, we did an inspection of our rucksack. So we took everything out. But after that, we started the Commander's Challenge. The Commander's Challenge was a beast. A whole beast. It was a whole beast. It might not sound like a lot, but it was a lot. Trust me, it was a lot. So the way it worked is we had a 3.8 mile ruck march that we had to complete. with our rucksacks, of course, with our M4s, flick, uniform, no Kevlar. Also, we had to carry a litter, and one person on the team had to be on that litter for a mile, and then after a mile, we had a checkpoint, and we had to switch the person off with somebody else and go. And then the third mile, we had to switch somebody else off and go. And the thing is, you couldn't have the same person on a litter twice. So that sucked. Not only did that suck, we had to carry 2 ammo cans. Not ammo cans, I'm sorry. Jerry cans. And we had 5-gallon water jugs. So I mean, that was sucky too. We ended up just putting it on our back because we had our big rucksack on, and we just like laid it on our back and kind of carried it like that. We decided to use ropes to like wrap around us, and it had a loop at the bottom, like down here. So pretty much we had a rope that went across our bodies down, and then there was a loop about right here where your hip was. And what we would do is when we would actually pick somebody up for the litter, we would put that loop on the handle. So it would take a lot of pressure off us just holding it with our arms, you know what I mean? Some of this would get it, but the rope was like, it was like a blood choke, for real, because it was like coming up right here. So it was harsh. It sucked. But we powered through it. We came in second. But this event's not over yet. We ended up coming in second though. But what happened is after the third mile, not the third mile, but after we got done with the last checkpoint, third mile, last checkpoint, we had to swim across 2 ponds. They was 10 feet deep each, and we had to swim across it with our rucksacks on. And that was a fucking beast. You know, I'm not a strong swimmer. I can swim, but I'm not a strong swimmer. You know what I mean? So it was real harsh. It was real harsh. And one of the pools was actually pretty clean. And then one of the ponds was just fucking like algae everywhere. It was just horrible. It was crazy. So we went through that. And so we got out the pool. I keep saying pool. We got out the pond, and we all drenched and stuff like that. And so then we have to make a final run to the talk, which is the Tactical Operations Center. It's pretty much just like the area where all the administrative stuff happens. So we ran back there, and when we ran back there, we're soaking wet, just running full of sand, full of everything. Got seaweed on my drawers and stuff like that. So we get to the talk, and the first thing we got to do is we got to do an M4 disassembly and then reassemble the M4, and then you also got to do a weapons function check. And so the way it worked is that at the beginning of the ruck march, before we started, they gave each team one M4, one real M4. Everybody else was carrying dummy M4s. There's like rubber dummy. We call it rubber duckies, but they were just rubber M4s, and everybody was carrying that. But you had to maintain that one M4 because when you got to the talk after the whole ruck march, you got to do the disassemble and reassemble, right? One team, they lost it. They lost the M4 in the pond, and they didn't decide to go get it because they wanted to make the time. So they just left, which you should never leave your weapon on the battlefield, all right? Anyway, crazies. So we got to the talk. We did the disassemble and reassemble, and we came in second to St. Mary's. St. Mary's has been our rivals for regionals since forever. So sore. So St. Mary's actually came in first, and so at that point, that's when we realized it's game time. It's game time. You know what I mean? So after that, we get done. It's around like 10 o'clock at night. We started the ruck march at around like 8 o'clock, something like that, and we got done around 10. And then most teams, it was 5 teams. It was 5 teams, and most of the teams got done around like 12, which kind of sucked. We had to wake up the next morning at 2. So like you needed to be back as soon as possible so you can get your guys dry and go to sleep, eat a little something, and wake up in the morning at 2 o'clock for the next movement. And so some of the guys got back at like 12, 1. You know what I mean? So they were tired. They were like done after that. My hairline always looking crazy. We go back to our little place that we established as our home base. We lay all our ponchos down because all our ponchos were actually inside some waterproof bags, so our ponchos was pretty dry. And so what we did was we just actually put our ponchos on the ground because the ground at La Copa is grassy and it's sandy. So when you're wet, no bueno, it sucks. So what we did was we put our ponchos down, and that was like our carpet. Then we put down our we all put it down. It was 11 ponchos on the ground, so it was a big area. You know what I mean? That we can keep walking around. You know what I mean? We went to sleep, and like around like 1 o'clock in the morning, I felt a lizard in my sleeping bag, and I went crazy. I went nuts. I was like, I felt something on my arm, and it like wiggled down my arm. And I don't know what I thought it was. I just kind of like scratched my arm. I felt that same. I'm in a sleeping bag with just some underwear on because you know what I mean. Like I'm trying to be comfortable. I'm not trying to be in no hard uniform lane. I ain't got time for that. I can do that in the morning. So anyway, I'm just in my underwear, but I feel something go down my leg. My eyes was like this. I was like, what is this on my leg, fam? You know what I mean? So I got up quick. I didn't care about the sand, the grass, the poncho. I didn't care about nothing. I started running. And so I just started like hitting my leg and stuff like that. I went back to my sleeping bag, and he was dead. At that point, he was done. He was dead. He was smashed up. And so I just kind of like got him out my sleeping bag. But yeah. So anyway, once we woke up at 2, we ate, and then at 3 we met at this little pavilion where we got instructions on the night land nav. It's like a night land nav / day land nav course because it started at 3, but it ended at 8. So by the time 8 came around, it was daytime. So the way it worked is every team got 1 point that they had to go to, and that was their start point. So you plot it down, you go to your start point, and then once you get to your start point, you would have 5 other points that and all the 5 points that you had, everybody else had to, right? So the way it worked is it was a disappearing land nav course. So at each point there was an object that you had to get, and once you get the object, that means you was at that point first, and you just keep it moving. You grab the object, keep it moving. Go to the next point, grab the object, keep it moving. So the purpose of the game was not to find all the points. The purpose of the game was to find the points first and get the objects, and then return back and return the objects. And based on how many objects you have, that's if you won or not. So I think St. Mary's, they won that as well. They had 3 objects. We had 2 objects, but one of the rules is that when you bring back the object, it had to actually be like serviceable. And we had a 5-gallon water can that a hole developed in it from when we were dragging it, because we had a tire too that we were carrying, and it was on a rope. And so we put the rope around us, and we put the jerry can inside of the tire. But the jerry can started slipping, and it started rubbing up on the dirt, and the hole came about. And so we ended up only having 1 point, 1 object at the end of the land nav. So we didn't win that one. So after that, we did round robin training, which is pretty much we had to do an obstacle course, we had to do a grenade course, a medical course, TCCC. We had to do comms, which is just radio, and we had to do the 1 rope bridge, which is where you get two telephone poles or 2 trees, and in between 2 trees it's like a river or some type of area that you can't really cross with all your team members, because for whatever reason, say you don't want all your team to be wet, so you just establish a rope from one end to another, and you with your rucksack and with your your weapon, you go across the rope. It's lit. So one rope and radio, we came first in. Also, the way it worked is like once you started, every team started at one point, and it was 2 teams per point. So like 2 teams were at one rope, 2 teams were at grenades, 2 teams was at 2 triple C, and you would go head to head, and you all would have the same schedule pretty much, but you wouldn't find out where you would go next until you complete the first event. So when you complete it, you get done, they give you the next plot, you go there and you keep it going, you know what I mean? So anyway, guess who we get paired up with? St. Mary's. We beat them in overall time, but they beat us in the time it took to like do grenades, or the time it took to do T-Triple-C. You see what I'm saying? So they won those events, but we won the overall timed event. You know what I mean? At the end of the whole Ranger Challenge Regionals competition, we lost to St. Mary's 101 to 100. And so, you know, this is the first time we lost regionals in 7 years. 7 years. So, you know, we were just shocked. But hey, St. Mary's, they came to play. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we all on the same team regardless. We all in the Army, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it sucked. But we went over there, we shook their hands or whatever, and, you know, we kept it moving. And you gotta have a positive, like, outlook on everything. You just got to. Like, you gotta find some type of way to find any type of L as a benefit to you. And to be honest, right off the rip, I was like, all right, so it's the only 2 things that's gonna happen from this competition. We gonna win, and we gonna go to brigade. If we lose, our grade's gonna go back up, because in RC, you don't have no time anymore. Literally, like, you don't have any time to do anything. So the way I see it, my GPA about to go up, and that's why I came to ROTC. I came to ROTC to you know, get my academics on, so I can commission. You feel what I'm saying? So I wanted to win, but I didn't win. But I made it so even my L is a win, and so I can keep going. Like, yeah, I'm pissed, but I just put it in the back of my mind, and I keep on striving. Next year is a new year. You know what I mean? We got a lot to learn. We got a lot to train on. You know what I mean? To be honest, we wasn't our skills wasn't enough to go to the end anyway. You know what I mean? To West Point, we have a lot to work on. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. So yeah. So that's what happened on this weekend. I've been in and out all day studying, but I would only study for like 15 minutes and fall asleep and then wake up, because when I got back last night, we went out and we kind of just, you know, tried to cheer each other up, you know what I mean, from the L. We went out, I got hammered. But